Hi, this is Mel from Bangle Whisppers. Now, today I'm going to talk about the nature as healer. Now, you all probably have read The Secret Garden as growing up. The Secret Garden, there you could see the examples of nature being a true healer. And we read this story and then we kind of forget it or we don't pay attention. But if you do pay attention to what you read, then you will have answer to pretty much all of your questions. Just always ask question and then you will have the answers. In order to get answers from the higher divine, higher wisdom, you need to ask question and you need to sit quietly, practice meditation, being quiet, listening to your super consciousness or your spirit guide or whatever you call it, your higher consciousness. But answers are always there, you just have to listen. So now coming back to the Secret Garden. So in Secret Garden, you see as Mary came from India to London, England, where she started going out and then discovering the Secret Garden, and she started going in nature, picking up the seeds and growing plants and playing outside, jump skipping, playing in the sun, getting burned in the sun, and actually touching the soil and planting trees and enjoying the birds and nature. And how Mary, from a sickly child who used to be very cross and cranky and used to treat her servants and maids awfully bad, became a nice person and started looking nice. And she used to have very difficult time breathing heavy while doing jump roping. But Martha was her caretaker. She brought a skipping rope, jump rope, and she started doing skipping rope outside. And as you see throughout the story, that she totally changed and got better and stronger, and her hair looked better. But that was not all. Her cousin Colin, who used to be very sickly and everyone thought that he would die and he would become a hunchback, and his mother passed away, who was Mary's auntie, Mary's mom's sister. So even when they brought out Colin, who was very sick, to the garden, he started walking, he started playing with them in the garden, in the plants, in the trees, in the soil, and he became totally better. When his father came, he was totally flabbergasted. He didn't know what to say. It was like so amazing for him, amazing gift that his son could touch his face and walk again and talk again, wasn't sick anymore. But we probably missed a most important part, is the true healer was the nature. So back to the nature now. I've been doing gardening for a while and I love gardening, but now that I don't have a huge garden due to change of place, I don't have that much huge land to do the gardening. So but I still have grow a little bit something here and there. But as I'm growing and I don't have soil, I grow from the veggie scrap. So because soil does become heavy on the balcony, so I grow from the veggie scrap. And I see the trees becoming very big even on that. And that led me to this path of finding out, like I was talking about asking question, always ask question, how does this happen? and don't just take it for it is whatever someone told. You must question everything, why it's happening, how it's happening. So as I started researching, then I started finding out that we used to have this peepal tree in India, and these trees, branches, and the root system was so huge, just like the oak tree in US. They're like huge. They could be thousands of pounds, and they grew from year to year to year, several hundred years. And then the root system, not only it spread throughout the ground, throughout the cement or anything is there, then root started coming from the top of the tree and hanging down and going from that way, going again back to the ground. And it's just such a miraculous thing to see. If I find a picture of that on the internet, I will add the picture. So I will be looking for that picture to show you that how the root system was growing on top of the tree. Anyway, so there wasn't much of a soil, and there wasn't much of water either. Once in a while it rained, and that's the water. A tree like that, nobody can water. Nobody has that much water to water a huge giant tree which is thousands of pounds, the whole bark and the root system. And this tree used to be cut to make houses, do furnitures. So that led me to this path of thinking, where does this tree get this massive amount of energy, the matter, to grow into such big? Because nobody's putting fertilizer there. Whatever's on the ground, tree is sucking it out. But there's not much soil there either, and there's not much water there either. So basically what the tree is getting, a huge amount of sunlight, especially in summer, also winter too. Sunlight is electromagnetic radiation, and trees are taking this sunlight and then converting it to carbon dioxide and using many carbon molecules to make the glucose, the ATP, which tree uses to make the cellulose. And this cellulose is going and making the tree so bulkier and heavier. So what the tree needs to grow is obviously water from the rain and a bit of soil, or maybe no soil at the ground, just the veggie scrap is growing, or some of my plants are growing on veggie scrap. A little bit of soil initially to plant the tree, but most definitely sunlight. And then they are becoming this huge gigantic force, but they're taking in all the carbon and releasing the oxygen. And we are using the sunlight exactly the same way, but we are taking in the oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide. So then trees using our carbon dioxide, and we are using trees' oxygen. So we are codependent on each other. Neither one of us could survive without the other. And the major contributor, the player, is the sun. So if we block the sun, there is no earth, there is no tree, and there is no tree, there is no human. So what are the things which keeps us running, gives us energy, sustain our life in this earth? First is the sun and its electromagnetic energy, and then the tree and its generously, kindly giving us this oxygen which keeping us alive, and we giving the tree the carbon dioxide. So we are so interconnected with each other. And then, so water, sunlight, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. The game of this. So, who is our healer? Our healer is water, sunlight, and oxygen, the tree. So we can be healed in nature. Now, can we get healed laying in bed, inside home, surrounded by our devices? No, because we need the tree, the oxygen, the sunlight. So our healer is tree, oxygen, and sunlight. Now humans can get energy in two forms to run their body. Human bodies run in energy. Trees run in energy. Trees getting their ATP, the energy molecules, from sun. Human bodies getting their energy molecule from sun. So trees just like cannot survive without sun, human cannot survive without tree. Human can only get energy in two forms. One is tree and second is crystals. Because crystals in their unique shape holds energy. And this energy again comes from sun's electromagnetic radiation. So sun is the biggest player. So in our healing, what we need nature and we need crystal. Without these two, we don't have healing. So in our healing journey, we need to drink lots of pure water from the spring. Clean, pure, natural water from the spring. And we need sunlight to make ATP energy. Now here another theory comes, protein theory. So many people I have heard saying, oh, you need protein, you cannot live without protein. Now here is the biggest protein theory. Where does this protein come from? They believe it comes from the animal. Kill the animal, eat it, you get your protein. But is it true? Where do animal gets its protein? Where does cow gets its protein? Cow does not eat meat. Cow is getting protein from eating green grass. Where does the green grass gets this protein? Where is it stored? From sun's electromagnetic radiation. So what is this protein? Again, the carbon molecules. When the cow eating the grass, then humans eating cow saying we are going to get energy from this meat, but they're actually getting the electromagnetic energy from the sun because the cow has eaten the grass. Same way, people saying we will eat chicken and goats. What does chicken feed off? Grains. How does the chicken get this protein? From the grain. And how does the protein stored in the grain? From the sunlight. Sun's electromagnetic radiation is making those carbon molecules. Now, so actually human body is also getting these carbon molecules as muscle. And where it's coming from? Plants. So why not let the animal live and use plants? Eat the plants and spare the life of the animal. Because the reason we're eating the animal, or whoever eats the animal, eating the animal, is because of the carbon molecule, because of the green that animal ate. But just eat the green and spare the life of the animal. So that's the protein theory. Where does the protein come from? So the energy human are getting is directly from sun. That's why you see the air breather, the sun breather. There's a community where they breathe sun, an early morning sun, in the evening sunset, morning sunrise, and these are called air breather, and they live on that, and they eat very little, and that's how they survive. How do they do it? Because they're taking the direct sun energy as the plants are taking, and that is becoming the carbon dioxide and for their muscles and the oxygen. So they're also doing it in nature, so they are exchanging the oxygen and carbon in the with the plants, and they're also getting the pure sun's energy. So that's why a lot of people, they said that once they do sun gazing, early morning sun for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, but they don't look directly at the sun. They look up on their eyebrows, in the middle of the eyebrows, on the third eye, and that's how they look at the sun's rainbow color. But the sun's ray goes in their eyes, and this happened after this disease what hits everybody in the last 5 years. Many people were sick for years after that, after they get hit by the disease, and they started sun gazing for 30 minutes, and they felt way better because they started receiving this direct energy from the sun. So when we talk about a health or a healthy body, it needs, most definitely, it needs nature, trees, sunshine, and spring water, fresh spring water. So that's how the air breather, the ones breathe the air, could survive. There are some yogis in India who survive 50, 60, 70 years without any food because they're breathing the air. So we get a lot of energy from sun's electromagnetic energy, and we get a lot of energy from the greens, the trees. We get a lot of energy from the moon. As you see, during the full moon, people put their crystals under the moonlight to get the moon's energy. And also during the full moon and the new moon, you see in the oceans tide comes, and a lot of times during the full moon also you'll see people have very difficult time with their emotions because our bodies are 80% water. So any kind of water has disturbance with the moon's energy. So as you can see that we do get energy from the moon, and this energy sometimes acts good or bad way. So during the full moon you see people with any kind of mental problems gets really aggravated during the full moon. During the full moon you'll see a lot of evil things also can be awakened and energized. And during the eclipse too, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, and also you see in the sea water is very unrested and full of energy. Moon is so far away, but still the water in the sea can receive its energy, and then it comes with high tides during the full moon. So as you see, we get energy basically from nature and all the animals, and there is energies positive and negative. Negative energies are the one with lower frequency, lower vibrational energies, and these negative energies tend to suck energy from living beings like animals or humans, because they don't have energy. They live off of others' energy, but they're still energy, but they're low energy. On the other hand, the positive energies like higher divine or God, when we pray to them, we receive positive energy and we become aligned with higher frequency. So, what is the meaning of align with higher frequency or getting positive energy? As we chant the mantras, the name of the deities, whatever is their characteristics, so as we chant thousands or into millions, then our in us, within our body, their characteristics starts to manifest, and very minute percent of their power tend to come into our bodies. And this is not a storybook tale, this is like real. As you can see, the yogis, especially if you look into the life of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, and he was a greatest believer of Ma Kali, Lord Kali, and he used to pray to her day and night 24/7. And people that time had seen Ramakrishna Paramahansa talking to Ma Kali, eating with Ma Kali, and walking with her, laughing with her. But then he died with some severe disease. Oh, why is that happen? Because as people become very, very praying and reciting the name of a deity, they need to know the deity's power. Now, Ma Kali is super, 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 super powerful. A powerful deity like this, someone, a normal human being, or even a human being with higher frequency, even still that person will have very hard time to deal with that kind of energy. So that kind of energy is very, very, very high energy, and human body cannot sustain that kind of high energy. So that's why if you look into the past, many yogis, saints who have achieved like special superpowers. But if you see the deities they pray, if they were praying Ma Kali, they live very short life, because Ma Kali's power is so powerful that common human being cannot handle that. But on the other hand, there are deities whose powers are much more less than Ma Kali. As Ma Kali, you see the picture standing on top of Lord Shiva. So if somebody is praying to Shiva, you'll see they live longer. If you see, you can search whoever prays to Shiva, like Swami Sivananda. There are many Swami Sivanandas though. One of the Swami Sivananda I saw, and he lived till 140 years. And 140 years he was still exercising 2 hours a day, doing yoga, pranayama, meditation, walking for an hour, eating 1 or 2 meal a day. Basically one meal, another one is just something little, and pure vegetarian and great believer of Lord Shiva. So the bottom line is, I don't want to go off the subject. is the energy, as we receive energies from God, and this is higher frequency, higher energy, and so we receive from that too, and that heals our body and mind and soul. So we receive energy from sun, from moon, from water, from air, and from God. And then there are lower frequency energies are demonic, and they receive energy from us and animals. So that's why we should stay away from those, because they take energy. They don't give energy. They make people sick. They take energy. So this was a little video about energy, and this is a vast subject. If you research, there'll be so much to learn about energies. So thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I will see you with many more. Bye bye. Good night, sweet dreams.